Welcome to today's 5-minute Bible study in the Gospel of Mark. We're still in Mark chapter 3. We're looking at verses 13 through 19. Now, we began to look at this passage yesterday, but we have some more to say about it. In this paragraph, Jesus is calling those who will be his 12 apostles. Now, we mentioned this in yesterday's session that Jesus at this point has a number of disciples, that is, those who have heard him and believed him or begun to follow him. We've also seen the calling of some of those disciples. But now at this point, of the many who are following, he's going to choose 12 to be his apostles. So let's look at this in some particularity about how Jesus went about naming the 12 to be his apostles. Verse 13, Jesus went up on a mountainside, and he called to himself those whom he wanted, and they came to him, and he appointed 12, designating them apostles. Notice he called from among his disciples, those who had come to believe in him, to follow him, to want to be his. And now he chooses among them 12 to have a special designation as apostles. Now, we mentioned in yesterday's session, this 12 corresponds, of course, to the 12 tribes of Israel. So Jesus is letting it be known in this choosing of 12 apostles that they will form the center of this new covenant community that we'll later call the church. But he designates 12 of them as apostles. Now, why the term apostle? They're all disciples, but why are these 12 designated apostles? Well, the basic meaning of apostle simply means someone who is sent by another. To be an apostle is to be sent by someone as their representative in mission for them to represent them. So the 12 Jesus chose as his apostles are to be his representatives, be his ambassadors, as it were. He sends them out in his name to represent him to the world. Now, since the apostles sort of form the inner circle, and we know later they become the foundation stones of the church. The church is built on apostolic authority, that is, these apostles of Jesus. So all the church in that sense understands itself flowing from the apostles to be sent by Jesus in mission for him. We see it in the original 12, but it also is something that is also true of all those who follow Jesus. We're all sent on mission for him to represent him. We're sent in his name and in his authority as these original apostles were. Notice the first thing he says, that they are to be with him. He appoints 12. He designates them as apostles that they might be with him. The first role of an apostle, the first role of someone who is sent to represent Jesus, is to be with him. You know, the first part of the Christian life, the first part of the disciples' life, is simply to be with Jesus, to trust him, to believe in him, to have that relationship with him that defines our life. We start out not by what we do for Jesus, but we start out by how we are with him. That is, we are his family. We are his children. We belong to him. It's all about being in Jesus. Jesus being in us. It's all about the relationship with Christ. So the first role of an apostle, and really in that sense the first role of anyone who is a follower of Jesus, is to be with him. You know, every day you need to make sure you spend time with Jesus. In prayer, in Bible reading, in devotion, in worship. The most important thing about your life is that you are in Jesus and that he is in you. You know, as you read through the New Testament, especially all the letters, the most common phrase you see is to be in Christ. To be in Christ, and for Christ to be in you. That signifies that personal relationship, that being with him. And we see this in the calling of the 12 apostles. He appoints them and designates them apostles first that they might be with him. Make the first priority of your life to be with Jesus, to be in Jesus, and through faith for Christ to be in you. That is the most important part of your life. Being with Jesus. Now there's more. There's more that comes from that. But you have to begin at the beginning, as the apostles did. And the beginning is to be in Jesus, to be with him. So Jesus appoints the 12 that they might be with him. Now there's more coming, and we'll look at that in tomorrow's session. So join us next time for our 5-minute Bible study in the Gospel of Mark.